What if I told you the reason you keep losing motivation, quitting goals, and feeling stuck isn't because you're lazy? Nah, the real problem is that your brain has been trained to chase results while hating the process. That's why people get super hyped at the beginning, then completely fall off the second things get boring or uncomfortable. And honestly, this book explains that problem in a way that hits different. Today, we're diving into The Practicing Mind by Thomas M. Sterner, a book that can completely change the way you look at discipline, focus, and success. So stick around, because if this mindset really clicks for you, you might stop chasing motivation forever and finally learn how to stay consistent for real. Yo, real talk. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they quit the second things get boring. This book completely flips the way you think about discipline and success. Instead of chasing results nonstop, it teaches you how to actually enjoy the grind. And honestly, that mindset can change your whole life, no cap. Lesson 1. Process, not product. This is the biggest lesson in the entire book. Process, not product. Sterner says most people make the same mistake. They become emotionally obsessed with the final goal. I want to get rich. Ivan Nagovited. I want to get top grades. I want to look perfect. And because the goal feels far away, they become impatient. Then frustration kicks in. Think about the gym. A guy starts working out. After 10 days, he checks the mirror like, bro, where are my abs at? That's product thinking. The practicing mind says, forget the abs for a second. Did you show up today? Did you improve today? Cool. That's the win. That mindset removes pressure, because when the process becomes the goal, you feel successful every single day you practice. That's huge. Most people only feel happy after success. The practicing mind teaches you to feel fulfilled during the journey. And honestly, that changes everything. Lesson 2. Your mind is like wild horses. The author uses an old story about a chariot pulled by wild horses. The horses represent your mind. If you can't control your thoughts, your mind drags you everywhere. And man, this is modern life in one sentence. You try studying, then suddenly you're checking notifications. You sit down to work, and 5 minutes later you're scrolling reels. Your body is in one place. Your mind is somewhere else entirely. Sterner says most anxiety comes from this exact problem. We're never fully present. We're either stressing about the future or replaying the past. That's exhausting. And the scary part, most people live like this 24/7. Their mind never shuts off. The practicing mind trains you to focus fully on one moment at a time. When eating, just eat. When studying, just study. When practicing, just practice. No mental chaos. No overthinking. And weirdly enough, that's where peace starts showing up. Lesson 3. The problem with modern culture. This part hit hard. Sterner explains that society trains us to chase outcomes nonstop. Schools care about grades. Companies care about results. Social media cares about numbers. Everything becomes win faster, grow faster, get results now. That's why patience feels almost impossible today. We've become addicted to instant gratification. Fast food, fast entertainment, fast dopamine, fast success. Nobody wants the slow grind anymore. But real growth, it's slow. A tree doesn't grow overnight. Muscles don't grow overnight. Skills don't grow overnight. And deep down, we know this. But emotionally, we still want instant results. That's why people quit too early. The author even talks about how students cheat for grades because society teaches them that the result matters more than actual learning. That's crazy. People care more about looking successful than becoming skilled. And honestly, social media made this even worse. Everybody wants the highlight reel. Nobody wants the boring repetition behind it. Lesson 4. Practice should feel calm, not stressful. This idea blew my mind. Most people think practice should feel painful. Sterner says real practice actually feels calming. Why? Because when you're fully focused on the present moment, your brain stops carrying yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's worries. You're just here. He explains this using golf practice. Some students hated practicing because they kept focusing on how bad they were. But Sterner enjoyed practicing because he wasn't emotionally attached to immediate results. He understood that every repetition was improving him little by little. That's the difference between amateurs and masters. Amateurs practice while emotionally judging themselves. Masters practice with curiosity and patience. That's why masters improve faster. Lesson 5. Stop judging every mistake. This lesson is insanely important. Sterner says judgment wastes energy. Think about learning a new skill. You mess up once and instantly, I suck. I'm not talented. I'll never figure this out. Bro, chill. Every master once looked clueless. When babies learn walking, they fall constantly. Imagine if babies reacted like adults. One fall? Walking isn't for me. Sounds ridiculous, right? But adults do this with everything. One bad video, point one, failed test, point one, awkward conversation, and suddenly they want to quit. The practicing mind removes emotional drama from failure. Instead of saying, I'm terrible, you simply observe, okay, that didn't work. Let's adjust. That mindset saves insane mental energy. Failure becomes feedback, not identity. Lesson 6. The observer mindset. One of the coolest concepts in the book is the observer. This means learning to watch your own thoughts instead of blindly reacting to them. For example, you're studying, then suddenly your brain says, this is boring. Let's check Instagram. Most people instantly obey that thought, but the observer notices it. It says, interesting, my brain wants distraction right now. That tiny awareness gives you control. Without awareness, your mind controls you. With awareness, you control your mind. That's powerful. Lesson 7. There is no final destination. This might be the deepest lesson in the book. Most people think happiness exists at the finish line. When I get money, then I'll relax. When I get famous, then I'll feel successful. When I achieve this goal, then life begins. But Sterner says life is the process. Because every time you reach a goal, your brain creates another one. You hit 10K followers. Now you want 100K. You buy your dream car. Now you want a better one. The finish line keeps moving forever. That's why people who only chase outcomes stay unhappy. They train themselves to postpone happiness. The practicing mind teaches you to enjoy becoming, not just achieving. That's a massive shift. Powerful example. Sterner shares a beautiful idea about flowers. Think about a flower growing from a seed. At what exact moment does it become perfect? When it sprouts, when it blooms, when it fully opens. The answer is every stage matters. The flower isn't rushing itself. It simply grows naturally. Humans are different. We constantly compare ourselves to imaginary perfection, and that creates anxiety. The practicing mind teaches you to stop rushing your growth. You're allowed to improve gradually. That's how real mastery works. So here's the biggest takeaway from the practicing mind. Your life changes when you stop obsessing over outcomes and start respecting the process. Because discipline isn't about forcing yourself to suffer. It's about learning to stay present long enough for growth to happen naturally. That's the real flex. Not overnight success, not motivation, not fake hustle culture. Just calm, consistent, focused effort, day after day. And honestly, that mindset is rare nowadays. Most people are distracted, impatient, always chasing the next dopamine hit. But the people who truly win in life, they learn to enjoy repetition. They stay patient. They trust the process even when results are invisible. That's what this book teaches. Process over product. And tell me, which lesson or part of this book hit you the hardest? In the comments section, was it staying present, stopping self-judgment, or learning to enjoy the process itself? I am genuinely curious. And if this video helped you even a little, hit subscribe and join the journey. Because we're not just chasing success here. We're building the mindset to handle it. See you in the next one.